Welcome to jobskillshare.org. This is the introduction video before we start releasing our videos for AWS Fundamentals that is being covered by jobskillshare.org. Basically, we are going to release the AWS Fundamental videos on different platforms such as YouTube and other platforms. But before getting started, a lot of people will need to know some information before they start our lectures on YouTube. So if you're brand new to IT, this course is not for you. If you want to start an IT career, JSS recommend that you first learn about the IT basics and networking basics, and that can be done from jobskillshare.org. And you will select the IT support roadmap. In that, you are going to learn the basics of IT and also the networking skills. And then you will also learn about the cloud basics, which is a different course. Then you will be able to understand AWS the way we would like our members to know. If you want to jump into it and then learn it, that's up to you. But do know that if you're new to IT and you don't know the basics of networking and basics IT skills, and even basics of just normal cloud, how cloud works, then just jumping straight to this is not going to be a good option for you, but you're free to do whatever you like. This is just a little warning for you. If you would like to start IT career from scratch and you think that, okay, I'm going to learn all of the basics before I get to the AWS, then go to YouTube, type Job Skillshare, don't forget to subscribe, and then click on videos here. And you can see this is the video that you would like to watch, which is 22 minutes long video. And I shared the same screenshot explaining the whole process of how to become a cloud administrator the proper way. So now that you are clear what to take before starting this course, but if let's say you are in the stage where you are already an IT professional and you know these things and you just want to jump into the AWS world, then this type of videos will be for you. But let's say you're a JSS member and you are asking, okay, I'm already a member, and is there a hands-on approach to these videos that you guys are sharing? Then we'll say yes. In our platform, if you go to, let's say, your access and click on my courses, here's the AWS Cloud Practitioner, and that is exactly what we are sharing, the videos of that course to help out everybody. So here you can see these are the same videos are already available to you as a member. You can come and kind of like, do this, and then labs are available to you as a member. So if you follow the instructor step by step, how they are doing things, then you should be able to do these labs in the system hands-on, just like how instructor is doing in these videos. Another cool thing about this program, we are going to have a coaching services program. And just like any other program that we teach, we also have teachers that can help you with understanding more technical concepts inside Discord, where you can collaborate with a teacher. The people who are already taking these programs, maybe already landing jobs, and they can really help you with references. And of course, this is a trainee internship that is available in a coaching program, which is super powerful when as someone say that we're going to call someone for your reference, and that's where real IT professionals can then give you the reference based on your training, your collaboration, how you have worked with other members. It's very, very powerful stuff. So if you're interested in the coaching program for AWS and becoming a cloud administrator as an AWS engineer, then the form link will be available in the description as well, and you can submit your inquiry, and whenever it's available, we will invite you to that program. More practical example will be your resume. This is IT support resume, but it's going to look like the same for your IT cloud administration skills. And even if you don't have experience, you will show yourself as a trainee intern, which really worked for our members as an IT support professionals. And a lot of companies accept this type of training, as where you can see that we got a lot of people that were placed in the IT support roles for putting something like this. And then also a certification. When our members complete our certification, we're going to give them a completion of certificate. And also these are the references that people are going to call for, and people do. Then we provide reference letters, we provide verification letters that this person have spent this much time on training and everything, and that is we are going to take care of that part. Now, next, you're going to get an introduction video on YouTube with a connection to the labs. Again, the reminder for our members, if you would like to jump into this course right now, it's available in your portal by going to my courses, click on AWS Cloud Practitioner, and everything is included for you in a very nice sequence. And if you would like to wait for the YouTube videos, we will upload them almost every other day, and you will have this full lectures and labs available on a YouTube format as well.
Hello and welcome to Job Skillshare AWS Cloud Practitioner course. Today is going to be your lecture number 1 on AWS Cloud Fundamentals. This is Kamran Mahmood and I will be your instructor throughout the AWS Cloud Practitioner course. So let's head over to the next slide, which is talking about the course that I am intending to cover today, which is what is AWS Cloud and cloud computing, cloud deployment models as well as cloud service models, then type of service models, and then I will be talking about what are the regions and availability zone with some examples, and then I will be talking about what is AWS Pricing Calculator, and then we will be doing one lab. So let's move to the next slide, which is just giving you the definition or the information about what is cloud and cloud computing. So the cloud refers to the term internet, which means it is something present at remote location, and cloud computing means accessing, storing and configuring devices online. So AWS or Amazon Web Services is an on-demand secure cloud service platform offering compute power, database storage, content delivery and other functionalities to help business scale and grow. So basically, the concept of cloud computing is not new. If I will give you a reference of the old, the scenario that we were using and we are still using, like for example the domain hosting. If I will give you example like www.jobskillshare.org, okay, so this is what it is, a domain name, okay, but if you go to the website, you will be seeing one website of the JSS, which is having some images, some text materials, some contents, some videos, okay, like media content. So what do you think where these all things are placed? This is placed somewhere called region. Region could be, for example, United States, and then another inside the region we could have multiple zones, like we could have North Virginia, okay, we could have California, okay, we could have New York, okay. So you can correlate these as the zones, and then these zones could have some servers, physical servers at their location, and there could be multiple physical servers where this all information will be placed, okay, and the replica of this website will be placed in New York. So this is a kind of cloud computing that is happening in a back old days, but even still in existence we have this scenario, okay. And why do we have multiple zones? Let's suppose in case if this North Virginia zone is down, then website is totally down. So that is why we have another physical server available. In case of North Virginia server is down, we still have reachability to this www.jobskillshare.org website. Okay, so these all contents, images are placed where? Somewhere in a server which has what? Which has some resources. And resources means like it has some storage capacity, it has some CPU processing, it has some GPU, which stand for graphic processing unit, okay, then it has some RAMs, okay. So these kind of, if you are from the IT background, you might be familiar with these things. Any physical device have these all resources, okay. So if I correlate this same term with cloud computing, basically this is not different than the scenario that I was telling you just right now. So the thing is, in cloud computing, some companies like AWS, Amazon Web Services, like Microsoft Azure, like Google Cloud, or the Alibaba, they have given us these all resources online. Okay, so this is on demand. On demand means we can access those all resources anytime. Okay, which is offering what? Compute power, database storage, content delivery, and all other functionalities that I'm going to cover in a subsequent sessions. So don't worry about that. And the cloud computing, the term refers, which means it is something present at a remote location. Okay, so it will be accessible remotely, like I have already given you the example of the jobskillshare.org scenario. Okay, so two kind of terms are being used. One is on-premises versus cloud computing infrastructure. So what is on-premises? As the name suggests, on-premises means I have my own location. So this is some warehouse, we can say, or office. Then in office, you have a small data center, which is having your all, the servers. You have multiple servers, and these servers could be like SQL server. This server could be like web server, or this server could be some like kind of application server. Okay, then you have multiple users who are maybe in the same building or maybe somewhere another building, and they are accessing those devices, these resources using some on-premises infrastructure like switches, routers, wireless access points. Okay, so these are all the things when we called on-premises. On-premises means these resources will be available locally. On other hand, we have cloud computing infrastructure, which is what Amazon is providing us, Azure is providing us. Okay, so they have kind of resource pools, like they have server pools, they have like RAM, list of RAMs pools, or not list but RAM physical devices pools. They have pool of CPUs, they have pools of like storage. Okay, then you are sitting at home, and from far location you are accessing these resources. Okay, as per your need. So this thing is called cloud computing or cloud infrastructure. So what are the benefits of having these cloud computing? The first thing is easy to access. As I said, this is very easy to access. You just need for example, if you want to access one Amazon EC2 instance, which is nothing but a physical or virtual machine that is sitting in Amazon premises, but you have to access that device. For example, it could be like a Microsoft server. So it is just one click away. Okay, and we will do it when we will perform the lab in the EC2 section. We are going to create one EC2 instance of either Linux device or the Windows Server device, and we can access from our local machine. So this is very easy to access. Then flexibility, easily upgrade hardware. Okay, so it could be, when we are talking about the flexibility, it is means we are going to provide like there are two kind of scalability options, like we are doing vertical scaling and we are doing horizontal scaling. When it is when it is have to do with the upgradation with the hardware, it could be vertical or the horizontal. When it comes to the vertical, means it should be like this. We are going to upgrade our devices, adding like more hard disk. We are adding more storage devices. We are adding more RAMs. We are more CPUs, etc. Okay, when it comes to have the horizontal scaling or upgrading, it means we are going to add more devices. Okay, so the vertical scaling or flexibility means we are going to add more resources like hard disk drives, CPUs, processor, etc. But when it comes to have the horizontal scaling, it means we are going to add another instance like this Microsoft server 1, and this will be the replica of that server 2. So we are adding another server. This is also like a one click away, you know, even vertical or even horizontal. So it is very easy to upgrade. Another thing is pay as you go. This is very cost effective. You know, if I have created one server, Microsoft server, and I'm intending to use it just for 30 days. So I'm just going to consume that 30 days and then I will just uh, you know terminate this device. So I'm just going to pay for 30 days only. So that is why it is saying pay as you go. So if you are going to use for a 1 year, you are going to pay for 1 year. If you are going to even use for a 1 day, you are going to pay for a 1 day. But some of are free tier eligible as well. Means without paying, we can use this for a test purpose, which we are going to cover in the whole AWS Cloud session. So let's move next. Scalable auto scaling features. As I said, there are two kind of auto scaling features, horizontal and vertical. So sometime, you know, we need to do auto scale. We do not want, for example, in a rush hours, if somebody is accessing job skill share website, which is located, for example, in two zones only, like it is available in North Virginia, as well as on Ohio. So currently job skill share website is available only on two regions. Okay, but let's say in a rush hours there are thousands and thousands of users accessing these servers. Don't you think these servers will choke up very easily? Yeah, so that is why we have scalable or auto scalable features. We can deploy in such a fashion when we have more than, let's say, 1,000 users. Another replica of that server will be placed in, let's suppose, in California. And even if more, you know, the people come to access this job share website, automatically the replica of that server will be placed in another region, let's say the New York. Okay, so these are the scalability option or the features available in AWS Cloud. Another feature is high availability as long as you have internet. If you have internet available at your home, you know, AWS Cloud is always there, and that is why they provide us like 99.999999 percentage of high availability. Then we have some security features. You don't have to worry about like security features, like in, you know, if we talk about the on-premises features, we are going to deploy some kind of firewalls. The firewalls could be like ASF firewalls or next gen firewalls, Palo Alto, or these kind of firewalls. So you don't have to worry about these features because AWS has taken the responsibility of securing our environment. But we have some kind of traffic ACL inbound and outbound that we have to provide in case if we want to access our own devices remotely. Okay, so we will cover that when we'll hit EC2 topic. Then we have device independent mobile tabs. For example, they don't have any kind of compatibility issues. We can use mobile, we can use tablets, we can use laptops or desktop PCs anywhere from anywhere. Okay, then this is reduced maintenance cost, because just imagine if you have on premises like these devices, we have the data center. Okay, then you need one IT administrator, and then we should have some another person in a backup. If something fails, you have to replace immediately with that. Okay, some hardware I'm talking about. But in case of AWS, this is totally up to the AWS. This is their responsibility and their headache how they are going to replace those the devices that is having some issues. So you don't have to worry about that. So that is why you are going to have a reduced maintenance cost as well. Cloud deployment models. A cloud deployment model defines the cloud services you are consuming and the responsibility model for whom manages them. Okay, so let's say we are going to have 4 kind of deployment models. Basically means how you are going to deploy your model. It could be private, it could be public, it could be hybrid and community. So first thing first, what is private? Services used by a single organization and not exposed to the public. The organization has complete control over it and it's used to meet some specific business requirements. For example, JSS Active Directory is on cloud and accessed by JSS employee through some authentication. So this could be the scenario. The scenario is job skill share has so many employees. So in case those employees want to access some resources, those, for example, that Active Directory will be installed online somewhere in a cloud. Then the employees will be sitting somewhere in a foreign location, maybe at their home, and using some kind of authentication they will be using Active Directory services. Okay, so this is kind of one of the example how privately these employees can access the resources of JSS. On the other hand, we have the public cloud. As the name suggests, this is open service owned by the third party. Could be like AWS, Azure, or the Google Cloud. So services delivered through internet but open to anywhere for anyone. Then we have hybrid cloud. If we combine these two methods like private cloud and public cloud, it becomes the hybrid cloud. Okay, so in case, for example, JSS wants to have its own data center as well, which is on premises, then it also want to use some resources of AWS as well. So combining these two resources comes under the hybrid cloud. Last but not least, the community cloud shared by several organizations, and it is going to be a multi-tenant environment governed, managed and secured by all the participating organization. For example, in case of we have like the government based organizations. Okay, in government we have multiple tenant kind of environment where all can access the resources as per their need. So that is going to be the community cloud example. So let's head over to the next slide, which is talking about the types of cloud service models. The first service model, by the way, there is one is called on-premises, and which we have already talked about. The other one is infrastructure as services. As the name suggests, infrastructure, it means some kind of infrastructure. The physical infrastructure or virtual infrastructure will be provided to us. The IaaS model provides you with the virtualized computing resources or complete hardware infrastructure. This includes storage, servers, and networking resources. The payment model is often as pay as you go. For example, Amazon EC2 service. When I'm talking about the EC2 service, it means this is some virtual or hardware or physical devices like Linux machine. It could be like a Windows server, okay, or any other physical devices with having some operating system. So that infrastructure will be provided to us, and then it is up to us how we are going to deploy our other resources like application and other kind of databases on top of that infrastructure. Then we have PaaS, which stands for Platform as Service. This model allows its users to run, develop, and manage application. It is easier and often cheaper than building it from the scratch, but still has all the tools for the full cycle of development. For example, SAP Cloud, Google Cloud App Engine, or even my own AMI images with all ready-made solutions. For example, if I give you a very simple example, let's suppose in case of platform as service, everything is given to me, like even the hardware infrastructure, and then one application with, let's say, the PHP. The PHP server will be installed, the application will be installed, the debugger will be installed. So everything will be ready, and only the thing that I need to do, I need to deploy my code on top of that, and I will be able to deploy that application. That's it. It means everything is given to me, but only I have to run my own code on top of it. That is called platform as service. Then in the last, we have software as services, and on our day-to-day basis, we have been using this service. Software as service is the most common and widely used cloud service model. They are either free or have a pay-as-you-go model. In fact, most people already use such platforms. For example, Gmail, Google Docs, and Office 365 are all the example of this kind of software. Okay, so under the cloud service models, what are the things that managed by you and what are the things that managed by others? We are going to differentiate over here. So first thing first, we have on-premises, then we have infrastructure as services, then we have platform as services, and software as service. So in on-premises, and we have already talked about what on-premises means, which means everything is managed by you. As you can see, this yellow is the indication of managed by you. So these are all the models, or these are all the layers you are going to be managed, and you will be responsible for these all things like networking, storage, service, virtualization, operating system, middleware, runtime, data, and application. In case of infrastructure as service, as I said, the infrastructure will be provided to us. So these are the infrastructure, which is networking, storage, service, and virtualization. We only need to deploy operating system on top of it, and then we have to run some application to manage. Then we have platform as services, and as you can see, these are the things managed by the other. Okay, this could be like, if I give you example like AWS. So AWS has given us networking, storage, service, virtualization, and even the operating system. But the only thing that we need to do is run application on top of it. And the example I have already given, like AMI. Okay, these are the ready-made the devices with some application or like in case of like the PHP is already installed. The only thing that we need is application to run on top of that PHP server. Okay. In case of SaaS, which is stand for software as a service, as you can see, managed by others. So these are all the things will be managed by others, and you will not be responsible, like Gmail, okay, webmail, or Office 365. That platform or the application or software is already given to you. The only thing you have to do is doing kind of input, and that's it. I hope this is clear to you. So let's talk about the AWS region and availability zones, and I have already given you a little glimpse about region and availability zone in the first slide, okay, where I was giving the example of JSS website. So this is very simple, AWS use region term and availability zone. These are the terms used by the AWS. So region, it's very common. The AWS regions are separated geographical areas that is used by AWS. These are distributed around the world so that the customer can choose a region closest to them in order to host their cloud infrastructure there. Okay, the closer your region is to you, the better, so that you can reduce network latency as much as possible for your end users. So you want to be near to that data center for fast services. In case of me, if I am here in Asia Pacific, I am in Asia. So this is going to be my region. Under region, this is Asia, and under Asia we have like India. So this is going to be my region. Then under India we have multiple cities like Mumbai. Then we have like Delhi. Okay, so these are all the name of the city which they represent at availability zone. So these are going to be the regions, and these are going to be the availability zone. So this is very flyby overview. And you can also consider regions like, in India we have like multiple region like north, east, maybe this Delhi is in a west, and this one is in a south, and in a south region we have Mumbai availability zone. Okay, so then we are talking about the availability zones. Availability zones are isolated data centers located within specific regions. So these zones will be inside the availability zone, regions, in which public cloud service originate and operate. Cloud computing business typically have multiple worldwide availability zone. Availability zone is just like a data center in that region. And in the next slide, you are going to get a clear picture. Like in such case, US, okay, and US East, Ohio, US West, North California, US West, Oregon. These are all the regions. And what are the availability zone? US East 1, US East 2, US East West 1, US West 2. And in case of Asia Pacific, let's suppose Asia Pacific is our region, and under region we have Hong Kong, and then AP East 1 is going to be our availability zone. So let's move to the next slide, which is going to give you a clear picture. For example, region is Asia Pacific Sydney, then availability zone is AP Southeast 2. And this is going to be your first availability zone in Asia Pacific Sydney. It will be like denoted with AP Southeast 2A. Then in case of I have another availability zone, this is going to be represented with 2B. Similarly, we have the third one, which is with the 2C. Okay, so what is the use case of these multiple availability zone. So as I have already mentioned, let's suppose you have these all resources or these data centers. Inside these data centers, from your home you are accessing let's suppose Microsoft server, okay, and you have deployed Active Directory on top of it. Let's suppose if this availability is zoned down, what you are gonna do? Nothing. You are helpless at that time. So what AWS did, basically, it connected this availability zone 2B with 2A, similarly 2C with 2A and 2B with 2C. So this is kind of like mesh topology they have created. Okay, so these are all availability zones will be connected with each other, and they will be replicating this Active Directory information to these all zones. Why? In case of this availability zone, which is 2A, if in case there is any kind of disaster happened and this availability zone is totally down, but still these two zones are up and running, so you can access these Active Directory or your EC2 instances or from these availability zone. Okay, so these are considered like the data centers. This is data center number 1, 2 and 3. If this data center is totally down, we still have the reachability to these two data centers. Okay, so as I said, North Virginia is for example in US East we have North Virginia, and under North Virginia we are going to have this bracket and 6. It means we are going to have 6 availability zone over there. In Ohio we are going to have 3 availability zone. Similarly in US West we have North California, we have 3 availability zone, 3 in Oregon. Similarly in Asia Pacific we have these regions, and under these regions we have 2 availability zones in Mumbai, Seoul, Singapore, and similarly like this. Okay, AWS Pricing Calculator. So what is AWS Pricing Calculator? AWS Pricing Calculator is a web-based planning tool that you can use to create estimate for your AWS use cases. You can use it to model your solutions before building them, explore the AWS service price points, and review the calculations behind your estimates. So for example, if I give you a real example, if you let's suppose open some business and you are going to have your on premises deployment, and you are going to hire one IT administrator. So you are going to first of all throw this use case to this IT administrator saying that I'm going to have like 3 servers for this purpose and 1 server for this purpose, another server for this purpose, and then I'm going to have 5 to 10 workstations or end users which are going to connect with those servers. So it means there is some kind of scenario. Okay, so the same thing happens in AWS as well. So maybe in future when you are going to get a job in the company that is interested into deploy their resources on AWS, they are going to give you this use case. On the basis of use case, they will ask you how much money we are going to pay to AWS monthly, yearly, or something kind of that. So this is where you are going to use pricing calculator, and it is going to help you much more in case if you want to share that pricing features with your manager or with your IT manager, or no matter who that person is. But at the end of the day, pricing calculator is going to help you estimate about your resources, so which we are going to cover in this lab as well. So this is going to be a lab time, and by the way, we are going to use practice lab This is the snapshot taken from the practice lab, which is going to give you this AWS Management Console. And this is not a simulation environment, by the way. This is a real scenario or real AWS platform. You can do whatever you want to do on that okay console. But they have some, with benefit, we have some limitations as well, because equally they do not want us to mess up with their environment. Like in case of, if I'll tell you, there is one thing called IAM, which is identity and access management. Basically, you are going to create users and you are going to give some privileges, permissions, what the resources these users can use. So we have some limitations, because the practice lab, they don't want us to create users for some another person, and we can give this facility to them without being paid. So that is why some of the features we do not have access, so we do not have to worry, because let's say 80% of the resources we have access, so we can mess up whatever we want to do. So that is the one of the very best feature in this practice lab. Here, the module that I'm going to use is AWS Fundamentals. We have some introduction inside it, like we have the introduction, which is going to give you a brief description about what is AWS and what is Amazon Web Services are. Okay, and then we have some simple lab topology, and then we are going to cover some exercises. What is the cloud models that we have already cover in our previous slides. Then there is one exercise regarding AWS Structure and Billing, which is basically the pricing that we were talking about, the calculator, the pricing calculator. Okay, so I think we should go to the lab. And lab 1, how to create AWS account. So let's go to the next slide, which is talking about how to create a AWS account. So this is not hands-on lab, by the way. I'm just going to give you an overview how you can create your own AWS personal account using these snapshots that I have created for you, because I cannot do this practical live, because for that I must have to have either debit card or a credit card, which I don't have, which I have already utilized. So I will give you the process how you can create AWS account by your own. So what is the first thing? Open the Amazon Web Service homepage, which is https://aws.amazon.com. So once you will click the website or the URL, the page will be look like this. Okay, next you have to click on create an AWS account. Excuse me. As you can see, we have one button where it is mentioned create an AWS account. So you have to click on that button. After that, a new page will open. That will be sign up for AWS account, which is nothing but you have to provide your email address. And by the way, that email address will work as a root user. So just always keep remember, if you are going to give you a username, like for example David or Bob, it means that is not a root account. Only in case when you are providing email addresses, that is your root account, and root account has full admin access. Okay, so you are going to provide root user email address, for example in my case kamrancisco@hotmail.com, and then AWS account name. This you can put any account name like JSS account, my test account, something like that. Okay, after that you will click verify email address. Once you will click verify email address, you will be given this security check option. That is nothing but a captcha information. You might be familiar if you have been in the IT for so long. So you have to provide some code, like I have provided G5PR46. After that, click on a verify email address. Email address will be sent to your personal email address, which you have mentioned over here. Okay, so you will go into your email address and some code will be provided to you. Okay, so this is the next step. need to provide a verification code received on the provided email address. So you have to mention that exact verification code over here and click verify. In case if you don't receive that verify code, you have to click on a resend code. Okay, but we have received, let's assume, and we have put that verification code over here, and then I will click verify. After that, you have to go through some AWS account billing information. For that, you must have to have either credit card or debit card information. So the page will be look like this. As you can see, billing information, you need to provide your credit or debit card information over here. Okay, as you can see from the snapshot, it could be either Visa card, Master, American Express, or whatever might could be. Okay, and then you have to provide your expiration date. There you have to provide the month and the year when your card is about to expire. Then we have to provide the card holder's name, and this should be exact name that is mentioned behind your or in front of your Visa card. And then you have to provide your address, that will be your home box address. Okay, I have also mentioned some note here. As a part of card verification process, AWS will charge $1 USD on your credit card when you complete the payment steps. This will be refunded once your card has been validated. So this is crystal clear that once your payment is done, $1 will be uh, credited from your Visa card. So this is the process when they have to verify your this card. Okay, that's it. And after maybe after few days, this $1 will be refunded back to you. Okay, then you have to click on verify and continue. Then we have this another step. We have to provide phone verification. Like you can provide, for example, if I'm belong to Pakistan, so I'm going to provide my Pakistan mobile number here, and then I will provide the captcha, and I will click send next step. Once, and this is going to be your final step, which plan you are going to use. They have different plans like basic plans, developer plan, and business plans, but basic plan will work for you. Okay, because we are going to go for a free AWS account, free tier account. For that, you have to click on a free and click on free, and next you will be landed into AWS console page, which will be look like this. As you can see, my username here, and I am landed by default into a Mumbai region because that is very close to me, and here will be some services you will be using throughout your session.
This is a tip video for our members who are premium members and have access to the labs. In your course, I would definitely recommend that you follow the course format by clicking on AWS Lab. Then watch this video where instructor is going over the lab, and then when you want to launch the lab, you can just simply click on Launch Premium Lab. If you have free account, of course, you're going to be trying to replicate the things on your free account. But if it's something is not working, you should move on and continue watching the videos. And in your lab access as a premium member, you would want to ignore the left side because you want to follow the instructor in these labs 100% because the instructor is doing a lot of things and adding more practical approach towards these labs. So when you open this machine, it's fully open, you're going to click on the browser here and it will automatically sign you up with the account. And now you are looking at the same screen that instructor has been using throughout this course. Now, do remember this is a cloud-based product from AWS, so it can change. So if it changes, don't worry too much. You got to do your research. If you want to become a proper IT professional, you have to learn the research. And in cloud, things will change very fast. So if the video doesn't have something, you shouldn't worry. You should start researching and start looking for things, and you will eventually find it or maybe get upgraded. And that's a good thing for you because you will learn how to find new features in cloud changes. So after this, you should follow instructor step by step, and you shouldn't have any issues by finishing this whole 5 hours long course. By the end of this course, you will have a good amount of fundamentals for AWS. And then as a member, we are going to add a case studies videos in this type of training, which is not going to be available for free. And that is going to take you to another level where you can become a very confident AWS engineer. For any job that has to do something with AWS, you should be good to go.
Okay, so this is going to be your lab where you are going to use these kind of practice lab environment. So this is very simple. You need to come here and power on this device. So meanwhile this is being powered on, we can just look into this theoretical portion where it is talking about the AWS Cloud Practitioner and introduction. So these are the tags. So this is going to give you a hint what you are going to cover in the lab. So which is talking about the AWS, what is AWS, the fundamentals, and then cloud models, then AWS global footprint, and then AWS pricing calculator. So you can read about these all the exam objectives and lab durations and help and support if you want to take. Then you need to click the next. Here it is going to give you the lab topology, which is very simple. Basically this is one virtual machine that is having this IP 192.168.0.1, which you don't have to worry about. And this is the server, basically PLAB Win 10, which is this one. Okay, we just powered it on. As you can see, it is working. So in the third tab, if I click next, okay, sorry, actually it is working very slow for me. Here it is going to give you the exercises, so the basic cloud concepts. Okay, so whatever we have covered, like IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, and then it is going to give you a hint about what are the outcomes you are going to get after learning. So these are the devices, and this is where you are going to start the task one, which is AWS global footprint. After that, it is going to give you step one. You just have to follow. So it is saying open Microsoft Edge from taskbar, which I'm going to do right now. So just you have to click on that one, and then this is will be your landing page. So in my case, maybe if it is not being opened, as you can see, yep. So this is very similar to the task that I'm performing in a step 2. So similarly, you have to follow along whatever they are asking you to do. Just go ahead and do it as it is. But in my case, I have already familiar with these, so I will go very quickly. Just copy this one and just log in into it, and then click on the new tab and then paste that link and just hit enter. So this is where it is talking about the regions and availability zone. So this is all theoretical part you have to cover by yourself. So the steps are already there. You can go one by one and then can follow along. So what basically it is talking about here, the same things that I have talked in our theoretical part, the regions and availability zones. So here we have like regions and availability zones. You can get the detailed information about what are the regions, what are the availability zones, like North America, South America, Europe, Middle East, Africa, Asia Pacific, Australia. Okay, then you can come under local zones. Then you can dig deep about what local zones are talking about. Then you can click, for example, get started with local zones, and then in that local zone, for example, if I am interested in Delhi, India, I can go into that Delhi, India local zone, and I can check what the zones or availability zones do they have. And as you can see, these are the disabled. It means this is the limitation what I was talking about. So this is just I'm not following these steps. That is why it took me to that availability zone, which is Mumbai region, and that is why which is disabled. But when you will go and follow these steps, they will take you to some specific regions which are enabled for you, and the status will be enabled. Okay, So this is just, I'm going to give you a flyby overview. After that, if you are interested, you can go into, for example, just a minute, you can click back again, click back. Now regions and availability zone, local zones, you can talk learn about what are the wavelength zones, AWS regional services, because some services, the service, when I'm talking about the services, which means like EC2 instances, storage, um, we have lambda functions, we have s3 functions, okay, s3 buckets. So these are all the services, those are available specific for those regions. So you can click on that AWS regions and it is going to show you what are the services are available to that region specifically. Currently, for example, Asia Pacific Jakarta, these are all the services that are available in that region. Similarly, if I click, for example, in Asia Pacific, or maybe I need to go somewhere else, let's say Middle East, Bahrain. If I'll click that one, okay, so these are all the services that are available only in a Middle East, Bahrain. So you can click, like these are Cloud9, Cloud HSM, Cloud Trail, Cloud deploy, Code Deploy. Okay, so these are all the services that are specifically available to that uh, region only. Okay, so you can go all the way to the step 12. So this is going to be your theoretical part. Okay. Okay, then there is going to be task 2, which has to do with AWS Pricing Calculator. So you can just follow along as the steps mentioned on the your left portion, but since I am already familiar, I'm gonna go do it by my own way. So what you can do, as you can see the pricing, you can click on the pricing, and then we have AWS Pricing Calculator. So you need to click on that, then you need to click on the create an estimate. So let's say we use one use case where our owner or the IT manager or the boss says that I need to have 2 Windows server which are going to be a dedicated, and these are going to be placed in Mumbai region, let's say. Okay, so this is going to be our use case. So as you can see, we are here at the select service. Here we are going to use region, and as I said, the region should be Mumbai. So you can select the Mumbai in Asia Pacific. Then I'm going to use service. Which service? As I said, I'm going to deploy 2 Windows servers, but that comes under EC2 server. As you will type EC2, as you can see, Amazon EC2, the filter search will be appear, and then you need to select this configure. Here you are going to specifically mention the description, which is going to be Windows EC2 servers, and the regions, as we have already selected as Mumbai. Then here we are going to provide the the specification. As I mentioned, we are not looking into the shared tenancy. We are going to have some dedicated instances, so we need to select dedicated instance. Then operating system, let's say make it a Windows server, because we are interested in Windows servers deployment. And the instances we are going to use 2. Okay, after that the family, It could be, these are the EC2 instance family that we are going to cover a lot in detail in EC2 section, where I'm going to talk about what kind of EC2 instances do we have available on AWS, which is having like CPUs. It could have 2 CPUs. It could have like 0.5 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM, 2 GB RAM. Then these are all like the specification, like storage on demand or whatever, this is all related to the EC2. So from here, let's suppose we are interested in, let's say, T3 large. Okay, and then here, as we said, we are going to have on-demand instance or spot instance, standard or convertible reserved instance. So let's say we are going to use on-demand, and this is also we are going to cover in a EC2 section. So let's say it's on-demand, usage is 100, and usage type, let's keep it the default, or let's make it like a week. Okay, after that, now you can also use EBS, which is Elastic Block Store. Basically, it's nothing but the storage. Then this is the monitoring, if you want to enable monitoring, or data transfer if you want. These all are the optional parameters. So we are not interested into those, but we will go direct into save and services to see what is going to be the final result. After that, click on the view summary. This is where it is going to show my estimate. So as I said, under our use cases, we said we are going to have 2 dedicated Windows servers. So the upfront cost, they said it is 0 USD, whereas the monthly cost is going to be your 106 US dollar. And here it is going to give you a yearly cost. Okay, so this is how, on the basis of this, with the help of this pricing calculator, you can estimate how much you are going to pay to AWS for those 2 Windows dedicated servers. After that, if you want to save this information, because you are not going to send this snapshot to your manager, of course you need to export this information either in CSV format or PDF format. Let's say make it in a PDF format. Then you need to click on OK, and it is going to give you a very good summary about those 2 EC2 Windows Server instances, which you can then print it out and can share with your manager. So this is it with the first fundamental AWS Fundamental Session lab. And you just can, as you can see, this is going to be our final output that I have shown you in a very quick fashion. But you have to go one by one to follow these steps to perform these all labs. So I hope this has been informative to you, and with that our AWS Fundamental Session ends here.